welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners and Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France, and of course you good old boys down south. Big C, we love you good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave. How's it going for everybody down south, Big C? Yeah.
With all the devastation that's going on there, Charlton, but even more so, I'm appalled by the sports teams that are going on down there, Charlton. You think about these athletes who get out of harm's way.
Yeah.
But they leave their families and fans behind, Charlton, because they can't be there with them. And there was a move done today by the Houston Astros, Charlton, that really perturbed me.
Yeah.
And it really did, because they have a series that they were supposed to be playing in Houston.
Yeah.
With the Texas Rangers. The Rangers offered to move the series to Arlington.
Yeah.
Give the Astros the gate.
Yeah.
Houston balked on that, Charlton, said it would give them an unfair advantage by playing 6 games consecutively there in Arlington. I'm thinking, you're talking about giving the Astros the gate. Why not give the gate to the city? And I'm talking about the Astros. Give the gate to the city of Houston to help with the relief. We can talk about how sports galvanizes the world, but there's also a bit of selfishness, Charlton, when it comes to that.
I'll tell you what.
We have these huge owners, Charlton, that are billionaires.
Yeah.
Billionaires. So them cutting a check for $10-20 million to help disaster relief when these communities are the ones who allow them to become wealthy. And you think about these pro teams, most of them are non-profit organizations, Charlton.
Yeah.
And they've gotten city tax money to build these huge palatial arenas that they play in.
Yeah.
And yet, in a time of devastation, they're not looking back to giving all they can to the communities, Charlton.
Well, Big C, that's a very good point. I do want to say today is August the 29th, 2017, in the land of the free and the home of the brave. And obviously, when you watch what happened in Houston, and I know we all have different outlets in life, and we just had a great sports weekend and down in Las Vegas, and now it really hits home when you realize Louisiana had the flood just about 12 years ago, and now they have the...
12 years ago, the Hurricane Katrina devastated that region of the Gulf Coast, Charlton.
Yeah, and now they're having Hurricane Harvey in Houston, and obviously it's even amazing that some people are still playing games, but that also shows you how much money's made in sport, and there's a great support for a lot of the pro sports teams that are donating money, and it's nice to see our society just stepping up and trying to help out. I don't know what can be done when you have global warming, but people deny that it's happening, other than trying to cut some of the emissions, and maybe that's one level, but that's going to take years to come into effect. But I just want to ask your thoughts on how people can even focus on playing a game. I know they may say, well, we want to do this to give people a chance to get away from what happened. But from what I understand, people in Houston, they don't have electricity for a lot of them. How are they going to watch a game anyway, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when you think about the convention center, which is housing 10,000 people right now, it's only slated for 5.
Yeah.
But some 10,000 people are in the convention center in Houston.
Yeah.
We're talking about relief for those who need it, Charlton. People don't have anything other than the clothes on their backs and what's being donated.
Yeah.
Food and shelters are the utmost concern. I understand that in the world of sports that most must go on. Only Faye Vincent, and I respect the late Faye Vincent, the commissioner of Major League Baseball.
Incredible.
When he paused the World Series, Charlton, after the earthquake in '88 in San Francisco with the Giants and the A's, he said, no, the game is not bigger than life, okay?
Yeah.
We understand that people need a relief from what's going on, but right now the most important thing is the safety of the people here in the Bay Area.
And Big C, and I want to tag team on that. First, I want to say this segment sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. I recall back in the '89 quake, the Loma Prieta quake in the Bay Area, and it would have been so easy had they done what the good old boys are doing down in Texas. They could have said, let's just move the game, the World Series, down to Los Angeles. We could play it at Chavez Ravine. It's still a California series. But they didn't. They realized that these players, they live there too. And what's wrong with taking a week and say, look, we're going to help people first, and then we'll resume our games. I mean, they're just games. Obviously, they make a lot of money, but I think you're right about Vincent, what Faye Vincent did back in the day, because he put people first. And even the players, there's a lot of players for the A's and the Giants, they wanted to stay around and help their families and also become just a regular person and help out as much as they could. I think sometimes we miss that, Big C. Even some of the universities down in Texas, they're still playing sports. They're just going to move to a different arena. I think it wouldn't hurt them if they went down there and kind of do what the Red Cross is doing, go out and help people. That would make more sense, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, I think about Houston, Texas, Charleston. They didn't go back into Houston after their last preseason game. They stayed out of harm's way, okay? They went to Dallas.
Yeah.
They're in Dallas. They're staying in a luxury hotel, okay?
Yep.
With room service, great restaurants, whatever they want on dry land. The same with the Houston Astros, Charlton.
Yeah.
You know, they're staying in a luxury hotel, going to be down in Florida, sitting at the poolside, getting suntan.
Yeah.
The only water that they're worried about is in the pool.
Yeah.
And how much ice melts in the glass.
Yeah.
That's the only water that they're worried about, Charlton.
Yeah.
But we have the people who support these professional organizations, Charlton.
They're hurting.
In dire needs, in dire straits.
Yeah.
Life-threatening situation that they're in Houston. And Charlton, even when the storm is over, their path in devastation of life is going to continue.
Yeah.
This is not going to be a quick fix. Oh, okay, we can go dry out Reliance Stadium.
Yeah.
We can go dry out Minute Maid Stadium. But when you have people who don't have homes to go back to, Charlton,
Yep.
who don't have facilities to live in, when you start sitting up and you see half-empty venues, Charlton, because these people can't get to them. You know, you think about these athletes have a job.
Yeah.
And I was a professional athlete, Charlton, for many years, and it afforded me a nice lifestyle.
Yeah.
But not as good as the lifestyle that's afforded today with the athletes.
Yeah.
But when we talk about the people who are going to be jobless, Charlton, now,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Not just homeless, but jobless. The devastation that comes, we're talking about homes being destroyed. There are businesses at a catastrophic number that are going to be destroyed. So these people who went from earning a nice wage, Charlton,
Yeah.
will now be relying on unemployment and other government assistance. And I go back to Mitt Romney and talking about entitlement.
Yeah.
47% of America's on entitlement. So he's going to tell these Houstonians
Yeah.
who are now going to be seeking entitlement assistance, Charlton, because of this Mother Nature devastation,
Yeah.
that they're undeserving of it, Charlton, because of something that was beyond their own control.
Yeah.
That beyond the government control. And I even heard President Trump running on that about people that were on entitlement.
Yeah.
You know, so what's going to happen now, Charlton, in the greater Houston area, when you have 6 months of unemployment throughout the entire NFL and college football season, where people can't work?
Yeah.
Is anybody going to talk about doing a fundraiser at a stadium, say, hey, we're going to donate 50% of the proceeds back into the community to help out the community? I understand sports is galvanizing.
Yeah.
But sports is also selfish, Charlton.
Yeah.
It very much is so selfish, because these owners who are billionaires are not looking to give back to the basic necessities. And they may toss a few $1 million out there, Charlton, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's chicken scratch.
Right.
But when a guy has $1 billion and he can't open up his purse for $25 million to help the city, who could build a stadium on taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
Minute Maid Stadium was built on taxpayers' money, Charlton. Reliance Stadium was built on taxpayers' money.
Yep.
And I don't see any owner stepping up saying, hey, here's $25 million for disaster relief. And it's still a write-off to the owner, Charlton. He's working under a 501(c)
Yeah.
corporation to start with.
And also, and in that matter, I do want to acknowledge, and of course, it's always one thing to name drop an athlete, but there's a lot of people who are not athletes that are given a lot more combined than an athlete. But I do appreciate some of the athletes that are getting together to help raise money. But also, I think that's grandstanding, and I don't want to sound negative, but there are people who can give money without letting it be known, hey, I just gave $3 million to get some more fan approval. Just do it in private. There are a lot of private citizens that have also given collectively millions of dollars too. Their name's not in the paper. They're not on some TV program so they can get more accolades. I think sometimes that's grandstanding. If you're going to do a good deed for someone, you don't have to put your name in the paper. Just do the good deed. A lot of people do that. But either way...
You think about the $10 donations that come in through
Yeah.
the Red Cross. People picking up a phone or sending a text.
Yeah.
Making these donations all day long. They're not asking for accolades.
No.
Even though it doesn't equal a $10,000 $1,000 or $50,000 donation that
Yeah.
an athlete would give.
Yeah.
But it's still giving from the heart. You're giving what you can give.
Yeah.
An athlete's in a greater position because of these multi-million-dollar contracts to give $50,000. You think he's not going to write that off on his taxes, John?
Yeah, and so that's a very good point.
It's the American citizen
Yeah,
who has been the backbone of American society, who has always helped each other in need. That's
Yeah.
what this country has been.
yeah,
It's great to see an athlete step forward and say, here's my tens of thousands of dollars. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I admire J.J. Watt for setting up this fundraising, the $3 million that he's raised thus far through donations of himself, other
Yeah.
athletes, and private citizens, Charles.
Yeah.
I'm going to give J.J. that praise because he stepped forward.
Yeah.
When everybody else was silent, he said, this is what we need to do. He said it on the news, on the press conference, Charlton.
Yeah.
On all the sports broadcasts. This is what we need to do.
Yeah.
Create a fundraiser. I didn't say Bob McNair say I'll come up and double, triple, quadruple whatever you raised, JJ.
Yeah.
That's what should have been done, and also the owner of the Astros and the Rockets.
yeah, and and some teams have given some money. They're just a little bit more quiet about it. But I do also want to make sure that the average person, let's just tie this into what happens sometimes. There are a lot of people, and this may be a bit controversial. I don't mean it to be, but there are a lot of people who give money to the church every weekend so they can give money to God or whatever they give it to. It'd be great if every church in America said the tide's going to Houston. Could you imagine how many millions would pump in? I'm sure that would be something that would please God. Let's see if our pastors can get together and give all your money to Houston support over this weekend at least. That would be something that would be more important, Big C. Your thoughts?
Joel Osteen, one of the biggest televangelists there is.
Yeah,
Has one of the largest churches there in Houston. Matter of fact, used to be the old arena that the Rockets played in, the Summit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He converted that into a church, seats some 17 to 20,000 parishioners.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
Why doesn't Joel Osteen, through the entire term of this flood that's going on, donate all the proceeds?
All the proceeds.
Brings in
Yeah.
to the parishioners in the city of Houston.
Yeah.
We're talking about doing God's work, and you say it's controversial. But you're talking about doing God's work. Let's give back to those less fortunate. That's
Yeah.
what the Bible says.
Yeah.
Give back to those less fortunate, and you will receive yours later.
yeah. I
Let's
think,
see that occurs. You know, T.D. Jakes is there also. Let's
Yeah.
not just look at Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
T.D. Jakes is down there in Texas.
Yeah.
Let's take that month worth of tithes and offerings that the church will receive and donate it to those in need in Houston.
well, you know, in all the churches, and we talk about sports, and this is the perfect test right now. It's kickoff time. We've always said that sports will bring our society closer together than religion and closer than politics. Well, here's a chance. Even our political leaders, you know, whether they're in Washington, D.C. or anywhere around the world, all the senators, they could all pledge money to solve this issue for the people in the great state of Texas and in Houston. But we still know, Big C, there's some people still suffering in Louisiana, and that was 12 years ago when Hurricane Katrina.
Still suffering, Charlton.
Yeah.
I was just down there a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I went through the Ninth Ward.
Yeah.
And I saw the devastation that still sit there. I saw lots that
Yeah.
were overgrown with weeds.
Yeah.
Homes that were still standing there that were gutted out.
Yeah.
They won't even be able to repair, Charlton. So when we talk about the assistance that people in flood rapid areas, you got to understand New Orleans was the Ninth Ward's minority
Yeah.
property, Charlton.
Yeah.
So it didn't receive the relief that others did. But we're talking about that 12 years. Katrina happened 12 years ago. To the day.
Yeah.
To the day, Charlton. Not 12 years ago, 12 years ago to the day.
Wow.
And we're looking at the same thing that's occurring in Houston. But, you know, our government did not fulfill its agreement, its fulfillment to New Orleans.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you think about that, it did not fulfill its governmental duties to New Orleans. So what is it going to be in Houston? The fourth largest city in America.
Yeah.
You know, a city with three major sports franchises, football, basketball, baseball, Charlton.
Yeah.
And so, a city that has hosted Super Bowls.
Just
that has
last year.
hosted NBA champions with the Rockets back in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, and have the Astros leading the American League in victories.
Yeah.
So, you know, what does it take for somebody to care about the public as the public cares as much about their sports teams, Charlton?
That's a very good point. So obviously everybody's doing their part. We want to use whatever platform we have because Big C Sports is heard around the world. And even if you look at the Red Cross, they're saying don't send canned goods. Don't send anything that's physical. You can donate money online and then the proper authorities will get the help to the people that need it the most. So even everyone around the world, if the whole world could give like $1, I know there are people starving all over the country and there are different people in different continents that are having their own issues. But for the people who can, obviously, every little bit helps. I do want to say again our thoughts and our hope and prayers go out to all the great people of Houston and the surrounding areas down in Texas. Big C, I do want to say,
Look at that from this perspective,
yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Everyone who has a paid American cell phone plan,
yeah,
and I'm not talking about the people who have those, plans that are given out in government assistance and
right,
entitlement program.
right.
But I'm talking about if you're paying a cellular company every month, if every one of those donated that $10, Charlton,
yeah,
think about how much funds would be raised for the Red Cross. And the Red Cross just doesn't assist Houston, Charlton.
They help everybody.
It assists all of America.
Yeah.
But if everyone hit that number and donated that $10, and everyone who has a cell phone plan in America, we're talking about raising over $1 billion
Yeah.
in one day.
Yeah.
That America would raise for relief of those in dire needs, Charlton.
That's a very good point. And also, just keep this in mind, whenever we talk about wars, it costs millions of dollars for missiles and bombs. I think we can divert some of that to a better cause. I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation of that billion-dollar industry. And for every sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports. Whether you're a pro athlete, a collegiate athlete, your high school athletes, even your mom and pop soccer leagues, reach out to Big C Sports and Ben and Mark. Let them know that Big C sent you. Big C, I do want to touch a little bit on the world of sports, and hopefully people can take a little bit of solace in that too. Going around the world, even if you look at what happened in the world of baseball, I think the Royals right now, they haven't scored in over 4 games now. Big C, your thoughts on the Royals?
43 innings, Charlton, as the Kansas City Royals, and they just won the World Series a couple years ago,
Yeah,
Charlton.
yeah,
But it's been 43 innings that they haven't scored. If they go another 6 innings, they set a major league record.
Yeah.
But if they get shut out tonight, Charlton, that's 5 games without scoring a run.
yeah,
Okay? 5 games. You think about this is major league talent.
yeah,
These are guys that are paid to hit a baseball,
yeah,
to score runs, and you go 5 potential games
yeah,
without scoring a run, but yet you still charge premium price for your tickets. It goes back to Houston.
yeah.
You're charging premium price for your tickets, and you're failing to perform.
That's a very good point.
And last night, there was a rookie pitcher that was thrown at him, Charlton, who
Yeah.
only had 7 major league starts.
Yeah.
7. And he shut him out. Only 2 hits, Charlton.
Yeah, that's a very good point, too. So, obviously, the world of baseball, still everything takes a back seat to what's going on down in Houston. But we know life goes on, and hopefully it can be something that people can look to take their mind off of whatever they're worried about. I do want to talk about a little bit Miss Maria Sharapova. Obviously, she had the issues with something she was putting in her system, got the suspension. She came back and won a match over, I guess her name is Simone Halep, and I guess she's ranked number 2 at the time. But your thoughts? It's not that she stopped playing tennis when she was suspended. I'm sure she stayed in shape. Obviously, you got to be in shape to play tennis. But what has to be going through her mind, knowing that she had a punishment, and now she's coming back, and she's kind of like where she started, Big C, where she left off, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you think about it. She had the time off. It's like anybody who served a suspension in any professional sport. You just don't sit on the couch and put on 40 pounds.
Yeah.
It's not what happens.
No.
You work at your craft, okay?
Yeah.
And Sharapova may not have been on the circuit, but everyone that she had been practicing against while she was playing, Charlton, they were still there in her corner for her to work out regularly.
Yeah.
Because she had gained a pound. She looked physically great.
Yeah.
Playing at the U.S. Open last night because she had a draw, Charlton, and she's going to be drawn against one of the top players in the world because she has not had any ranking.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Against the number 2 player in the world, which she's beaten 6 times consecutively.
Yeah.
Prior to her suspension, so she was most elated by the draw.
She's happy.
Like, I've never beaten a woman. She was really doubled down last night.
Yeah.
But, Sharapova, because of Serena's being out with her pregnancy,
Yeah.
they're looking for that next great person to come along.
Yeah.
And so Sharapova is going to pick up where she was 2 years ago. This suspension that she served of 15 months, Charlton, there'll be some people saying, well, we thought she'd be banned for life.
Yeah.
It's no different than an NFL player, getting suspended for drugs. I mean, it happens almost on a weekly basis now, sometimes 3 times a week
Yeah.
with the NFL.
Yeah. That's true, Big C.
This is the world of sports. This is the era that we live in, the drug-infested era for the past decade.
Yeah.
And so when someone is suspended, whether it's Lance Armstrong, in the Tour de France,
Yeah.
whether it's baseball players, being hit with the allegations and suspension, and we know half the Dallas Cowboys get hit all the time.
They can hit with something, Big C, that's for sure. I want to speak of
This is the era we live in. You can't say that everybody's clean.
Yeah, and speaking of Dallas, I want to bring up this issue because, ever since we started working together, Big C, at the end of every program, we always say there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. We know that in this country, a woman's battered every 20 seconds. Most of that's by mainstream guys, 9 to 5 guys that work 9 to 5 jobs, not pro athletes. But irrespective of what's happening right now down in Texas again, with Ezekiel Elliott. Urban Meyers had some things to say about what happened when he was at Ohio State. He didn't know what to do to help the young man. And I just want to make this point because everybody makes excuses for someone. And I don't know if he did or didn't do, but they did have some bruises on the woman's arm. Okay? Just because you have money, you can hire people to say, well, we're going to get him off. Every man that wants to think about hitting a woman, put your mother in a room with a guy that's going to batter her and see if you'll make excuses for that man. Put your daughter or your wife in a room with a man that's going to batter your wife or batter some woman and make excuses for that man. Find a way to do that. I'm not saying Ezekiel Elliott's guilty or innocent. I don't know. But I know there'll be other men in that same situation. And they think because they have the money and they can buy their way out of it, they're going to get away with it. So I know people saying, well, it's too hard, the minimum six week suspension. I think whatever we can do to keep women safe, I'm worth having that dialogue, Big C. Your thoughts?
When you talk about the Dallas Cowboys, we talk about an owner who has been willing to sign people that are known felons. I mean, he signed Greg Hardy 2 years ago after Greg Hardy had been convicted.
Yeah.
And we heard the 911 tapes. We saw the woman beaten, battered, on the
Yeah.
photograph.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones has said that, okay, Jerry Jones is a 74-year-old man, Charles.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume that he has a granddaughter or two that are in their 20s.
Yeah.
And if somebody had done that to his granddaughter, Charles,
He let him play for the Cowboys.
he would be right there with the prosecutor making sure that this guy was...
Are you sure? Are you sure though, Big C? Because he's shown that he would not. He's shown that if you're a good athlete, you can play.
If the guy didn't work for him, Charles, and if it was somebody on the street
Yeah.
who did that
Yeah.
to a family member of his, he'd have a different outlook.
Yeah.
But he's looking at this athlete who has a potential to make him some money and make him more fame. That's what Jerry is concerned about. He's not concerned about the health of women. Now, he'll stand up and say, well, I've donated to battered sheltered women.
Yeah.
Shelters.
Yeah.
Battered women's shelters. What's that got to do with it, Charles? You should not put yourself in this situation.
Yeah.
You and I have had the conversation.
Yeah.
That there's some 1,700 players in the NFL, Charles.
Yeah.
Okay? There's 1,500 of them we never hear anything about.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
There's 1,500
That's a good point.
players in the NFL that are model citizens.
That's a good point.
That we never hear anything about. But yet, all the sports talk shows spend more time talking about those players who break the rules, Charles.
Yeah.
Who get the DUIs, who get the manslaughters, who get the domestic violence charges, Charles. These are the NFL players we hear about. The ones who fail the drug test, Charles.
Yeah.
We hear about these players every week. I don't hear them sitting up talking about the player, Charles, who has not failed the drug test, who is on the team, who's an 18-year veteran.
Yeah.
They don't talk about him. He's of no interest.
That's a
He's
good
not
point.
a sexy story. We want to hear the car crash about a player.
Yep.
We want to hear about the guy that's doing wrong, not the guy that's doing right. Here it is, J.J. Watt raised $3 million since this flood has happened in Houston.
Yeah.
That's a blip on the radar. We've been hearing about Ezekiel Elliott beating the crap out of a woman for
Yeah.
allegedly beating up a woman.
Yeah.
For how long?
A long time.
We've been hearing about this for a year.
Yeah.
If not longer.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt is talking about bringing comfort to people's lives.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Not discomfort to somebody's life. And he's talking about thousands. We're talking about one individual with one person. And I'm not putting light on domestic violence, Charles.
No.
But as all the sports broadcasting corporations out there, networks, television, radio, podcasts, they focus on the negative aspect of athletes.
Yeah.
They're not focusing on the positivity of the 1,500 players in the NFL that nobody's ever heard about having any problems with law enforcement or lawsuits, Charlie.
That's a very good point. And so obviously, and I want to say, for any athlete that's accused of anything, I know what it's like to be accused of something that I didn't do. And when you have a whole world saying, well, maybe he did do it. Why? Because he was accused.
Hey, Charlton, I was accused by driving black.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out of that.
Well, a lot of us got that. And then Donald Trump pardoned the guy who's doing this. So you got to talk to Don about that. He pardoned the guy down in Arizona because he said it's okay. And one thing I know people say, well, we need to bring our country together, and it's a pass for a lot of people. But I would like to see President Trump say something about ending domestic violence and violence against women. But he needs to. But he needs to, Big C.
You cannot do that because here's a president, Jonathan, who has bragged about how he's abused women, okay?
I understand that.
So how can he do that? Because his base believes in that, Jonathan. He's told his base is okay because I'm rich.
And they elected him anyway.
I can do that.
Yeah.
And so these athletes who are rich and famous are doing the same thing as the president. So he can't bash any of them because the minute he says something against that, Jonathan, all of a sudden that tape pops up. This is what you said, Mr. President. And he can't say his locker room talk because all these athletes, where do they live and where do they work?
Well, see, that's the irony. That's the irony right now with down in the state of Texas. That's where Ezekiel Elliott lives for the Dallas Cowboys. You have President Trump in Texas now because they're having this, he's the president, he needs to show up when we have a natural disaster. But one man's fighting for the chance to earn a living in Texas. The president shows up, and he's been accused of the same garbage. So he needs to stand up and say, I was wrong. People know what he did. It was on tape. Either the tape was lying or he was lying. But it'd be a great time to show some atonement. And that's what all athletes need to do. And I don't think he's any bigger than anybody else as a human being. I just think it'd be a great cause if he did that. Yeah. Yeah.
You asked for 5 young black men to be put to death for something that allegedly they did, and they had no involvement.
They were innocent, yeah.
When you sit around and you bash minorities, Jonathan, your whole professional life, when you're accosted women and done the things that players are being suspended in the NFL for, and you face lawsuits, but you could outlast these women in the lawsuits, and you can pay off prosecutors, Jonathan, to get the job done.
Yeah.
You have the Justice Department who works for you now. How would it look if the Justice Department came after you, Jonathan? The Justice Department recused himself on this investigation that's going on with this alleged Russian scenario.
Yeah.
So the Justice Department is not going to come after the president. And you even abashed your Attorney General saying you wish you hadn't hired him.
Yeah.
So he's not going to come after you because you will fire him the minute he does, Jonathan.
Well, let's bring something else up in the state of Texas. And I know a lot of people are suffering, but we got to bring up the truth because they say the truth will set us free, Big C. I want to look at, even across the border, they love us up in Canada on following Big C Sports. But I want to ask you this. Art Riles, who was a coach down there at Baylor University in Waco, Texas, and all the scandal that went on at Baylor. Well, in the CFL, the Canadian Football League, which has existed longer than the National Football League, Hammond and Tiger Cats, Scott Mitchell gave the man a job. I guess crossing the border doesn't get you out of trouble. I guess there was so much backlash, or flack over him hiring Art Riles, bringing him down there, that I guess they decided to let him go now. Just give me your thoughts on what happened with Art Riles being able to run from his accusations or whatever happened to him across the border, getting the job, and then the gentleman for the Hamilton Tiger Cats said, we're going to let him go because of the media backlash. Doesn't he have a conscience over what happened in the first place, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, it shows that his lack of sensitivity towards women, Jonathan, and this owner who signed him to a contract. But I guess also being 0-8, you look for any opportunity that you can to win. But I think the government of Canada may have stepped in and said, we're not going to allow him to come across the border having all these sexual allegations and lawsuits against him.
Yeah.
We're not going to give him haven in this country, Jonathan. This is the same thing that they did last year to Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy, who had been convicted.
Yeah.
He tried to sign with the Canadian Football League team.
They said no.
They would not allow him the paperwork to get into Canada.
Yeah.
Because he had been a convicted felon in the U.S. So Canada would not allow him to come in and make that a haven that he earns a living up there.
Yeah.
So I do praise Canada for stepping up where the U.S. won't.
Yeah.
That you got a convicted guy and you're going to give him the opportunity to go out where this woman can't make the same money she made before, Johnson. She can't show her face in public after being the accuser, okay?
Yeah.
She's going to be beat down by the media. Trust me, because we have a male-laden business that we're in.
Yeah.
And not many women are going to stand behind her because they want to keep their jobs.
Yeah.
They're not going to bash the males in the industry that they cover, Jonathan, for doing something wrong. And so I'm appalled at the female sports broadcaster. They should be an advocate for women.
Yeah.
They want to sit there and talk about where we stand against domestic violence. Stand up on the broadcast.
Yeah, and say it.
And blast that guy for doing that, for being involved in it, Jonathan. They they teeter on what they say about this. They want to be sensitive. They want to be politically correct.
Yeah.
They get tongue-tied.
It's okay.
They get ticked off. But, you know, the problem is, stand behind the women. You're a woman. How would you feel if you're a female broadcaster and one of your co-workers did to you what these athletes are doing to the women?
Yeah.
How would you feel about that? Would you be able to go on air and sit there and have a cool, calm, collective face? Well, I'm doing this because the network tells me I got to have this type of behavior against my co-workers who sexually accosted me, Charlton.
Yep.
How would they act at that point?
And see, the reason it's supposed to be uncomfortable, because any woman in that situation, I'm sure she's uncomfortable when a man's violating her or when she's being beaten up, no matter what it is. So the men should also feel uncomfortable, and it should never be a conversation that we have without somebody feeling uncomfortable. So I just want to bring that to everybody's attention, because I don't want to happen to the people that I care about. And we can, if we have a voice, we got to say something about it. It can't just be up to the women to say that. We got to make sure that we keep everybody safe. But I also want to just touch on this last point, Big C, because I know that so many people, they turn away from just hearing about the score and who won the score and who won the game. Yeah, that's great.
Charles, let me touch on one other thing about that.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about Ezekiel Elliott so much.
Yeah.
You know, in this situation that he's got the 6-game suspension on. There was an incident that happened back over the summer down in Tampa Bay where he exposed a woman's breast on camera. Okay?
Yeah.
He didn't even come out and apologize for that.
No.
So that leads me to think not too positive of Ezekiel, and that's one of the mainstays about his conviction, Charlton, from the NFL.
Yeah.
Is that we have on evidence your actions, your type of behavior around women. So this is what you did out in public.
Okay, then Donald Trump, but then Donald.
I understand, but Donald Trump, you know, because he has a base. The NFL they talk about protecting the shield.
Yeah.
And under the guidelines of conduct, and even though this happened back in college, he has shown things since he's been professional. The one in college is the one that he was suspended on.
Yeah.
He's had 2 incidents since he's been with the Cowboys, Charlton, which is what led to his suspension, okay?
Yeah.
Those are the 2. Everyone wants to think it's just about what happened in college.
Yeah.
Okay? No, it's not. It's the 2 incidents that he's had since he's been with the Cowboys. And mainly the one that was caught on camera.
Yeah.
That was the nail in his coffin.
Yeah.
Because everyone saw that blast on all the television networks, Charlton, that he pulled down this woman's bra.
Yeah.
Out in public. Didn't care. But he never made a public apology. And I think that's what got him convicted more than anything else, is that he never made a public apology for that incident. He just said, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
I was intoxicated in public where I shouldn't have been. And I made a stupid error in what I did. And I apologize to her. I apologize to the fans. I apologize to America.
And that's exactly.
I apologize to all the women.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Also, what he wants to say about what he was sanctioned on by the NFL.
Yeah.
That's the one that got him home.
Yeah. I tell you what, President Trump would do a great deal of service for every woman that's going to go through that garbage if he said, you know what, I did something very bad, I apologize, I'm going to atone for it, whatever. Set up counseling clinics for people, because it happens to too many people. But when the President of the United States of America doesn't have the spine to say, I was wrong, guys, that lets every young boy, every knucklehead kid off the hook, whether you're an athlete or not. That's why I think he should come and drop. You know, the tape is out there. We all know the truth. Whether it's Browse dealing with it or Ezekiel Elliott or somebody else, we got to make sure that we keep our women safe, even for the coward men who won't stand up for their own women, for their own daughters and mothers and wives. Just, we got to keep guys from hitting women. I think that's important. Big C, I do want to say it's a great show today, but I do want to touch on one more thing before we close out. The great fight that happened down in Las Vegas, whether people think it's staged or not, I thought it was great entertainment. But for some people, you can tell guys that put money on an athlete, because there's still some people who can't let it go. They think the fight was stopped too soon. They wanted him to be knocked unconscious or out of the rope, out of the ring. I'm glad Conor McGregor did not get hurt any more than he was being hurt. We got this thing called CTE that a lot of people realize you have it later. So do they really want this guy being paralyzed in the ring just so they can say, well, I guess he did beat him? He beat the crap out of him. McGregor is no match for Mayweather. But I don't want to see him get hurt, even though he was talking a lot of trash going into the fight. So for all the people who lost a lot of money on that fight, what are they seeing to make them think the fight was stopped too soon, Big C? Your thoughts?
A lot of people think that this is just black and white. But you gotta understand, Mayweather's he's not embraced by the entire African American community in America, Charlton.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of people have animosity saying culture.
You think so?
It's love or hate.
Yeah.
Period. This was a fight about animosity
Yeah.
towards an individual. This wasn't a fight about purity of boxing. This was a fight about animosity
Yeah.
from the public's perspective. They want to see money go down. We talked about the Marciano comparison in
Yeah.
the record.
Yeah.
People didn't want to see that happen. You know, there's people saying, well, you know, he's been a lot of talk. He's made too much money.
Too much money?
He's obviously he doesn't show respect.
Yeah.
What the hell you got to respect when you're a billionaire?
Yeah.
I don't see nobody saying that, well, some white billionaires got to respect. I don't see anybody that's owning a sports team in Houston right now. People saying they need to respect their community.
Yeah.
So that's the respect that needs to be given. But people are so mad at Mayweather as an individual, you know, that they're making this stance. You know, and I'll go back to another athlete when it's talking about respect, and this is off the table just a little bit. You know, Jim Brown came out with a statement today talking about Colin Kaepernick disrespecting the flag, you know, for taking his stance on Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Now, I recall that Jim Brown was at a summit back in, you know, the early 60s, around 63.
Yeah.
You know, standing for Muhammad Ali. And so he didn't say at that time that Muhammad Ali was disrespecting the flag and disrespecting the veterans of the Vietnam War because he didn't want to go fight.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because he said no Viet Cong had ever called him the N-word.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And he didn't even know what Vietnam was.
Yeah.
I didn't hear Jim Brown doing this chance for social injustice in America, making those type of statements. And I understand Jim, like many of us, got CTE.
Yeah.
Because he was meeting with Donald Trump a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
Trump Tower, okay?
Yep.
When we want to talk about a turncoat, I got to look at that. So I don't have any respect for what Jim Brown said in bashing of Colin Kaepernick from athlete to athlete, okay?
I agree.
Jim
I agree.
Brown lost his place with me. He might be a great running back, but he's not a great humanitarian these days.
And that's
to come out and make those statements when he was living in a time of oppression.
Yeah.
When he was attacked by whites on and off the field.
Yeah.
Something,
Yeah.
and he couldn't say anything about social injustice when he was an athlete. And Colin Kaepernick did while he was an athlete, Charlton.
Well, Big C, that's a very good point because a lot of the athletes, like even if you look at Jackie Robinson back in the day, no one ever told the mainstream that gave them such vitriolic language and hate speech, you know, to get the hell out of the country or to repent. No one ever told the mainstream that was lambasting these guys with all the hatred to repent. So Jim Brown, obviously, whatever his motives are, I have no idea. But here's a guy that used to counsel young kids, gang members, about how to go right in life. Well, he knows a lot of them deal with the criminal justice system in a negative light. And sometimes you're accused of things you did not do, but when you're young and black and don't have money, they say he must be guilty, especially in front of an all-white jury. So I think Jim Brown needs to rethink what he's talking about, or at least come out and remake. You know, we can all misspeak. Maybe he needs to come out and say he was a little bit too high on the moonshine or whatever it was, Big C. But for some people, as they get older, maybe they think they can owe a favor to somebody by saying that black lives don't matter, even though they spend most of their lives counseling young black men. Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bandini Brown. He was Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He used to always say, "Rumble, young man, rumble." Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
It's all about baseball right now. Will the Kansas City Royals score tonight, or will they set a major league record for scoreless games, Charlton, consecutively? Aaron Judge has been benched by the New York Yankees, and so they brought that big bat down. He's only batted 179 and hit 7 home runs since the All-Star break, Charlton.
Wow.
Was he still a little tired after that All-Star? But we got football, Charlton, kicking off. Major college football is going to be kicking off. We had football this past weekend.
Yeah.
Went under the radar with the big storm in Houston, and so it should have been, Charlton.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're going to get college football kicking off this week. We got the U.S. Open going in New York with Sharapova with that big win last night.
Yeah.
Always something exciting to look forward to in sports, Charlton.
Well, I'll tell you, Big C, every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide, follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say there's never, ever any reason for domestic violence. Just don't put your hand on a woman. If anyone knows a woman in any kind of trouble, just call 911 because no one should have to deal with that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports program, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.